Alright, so the last day of notes we were doing kites. Michael, put that away. I gave you a cheat sheet on the quadrilateral so you can know what the properties are. This is a little different, but same thing. The trapezoids, and then we have the others. And then we have properties of a kite. In properties of a kite, we have exactly two pairs of congruent sides. Those two sides are congruent. In the middle, I have a right angle, which tells me that those two diagonals are perpendicular. So look at number one. How many degrees are in the inside of a quadrilateral? It's not a triangle. Guys, look at your notes. Flip to page 1 of your notes. It's in a chart. What'd you get? 360 degrees. So the sum is 360. So they already gave me two angles. I know that opposite angles on the short diagonal are congruent. So these two angles are going to be congruent. They're your only congruent angles in the kite. The only congruent angles are on the short diagonal. So how can I solve this problem? Not 180.
360.
Alright, so let's do 360 minus 85 minus 43, and what do you get? 232, right? So that means that those two angles are 232. How can I figure out what each angle is going to be? Divide that by 2. So what do you get?
116.
So Michael just told us that this is 116 degrees and this is 116 degrees. You have to be careful because in a kite, it doesn't mean that opposite angles are always congruent. It means that just two of them are congruent, not the ones on the long diagonal. Number 2 is very similar. Which two angles are congruent? Out of J, K, L, and M, which two are congruent? J and L. They're my two opposite angles on the short diagonal. So angle J is going to be 82 degrees. So how can I figure out what angle K is going to be? 360 minus everything, right? 360 minus 82 minus 82 minus 71. What are you left with? What'd you get? Yes. Angle K is 125. The biggest mistake there is that you guys think angle K is 71. That is not the same. Only the angles on the short diagonal. Alright, let's look at number 3. Alright, in number 3, they tell us that angle P and angle R are going to be congruent. If the top part of P is 37, what's this angle going to be? It's going to be the same exact thing. Imagine if we took this kite and we folded it on the long diagonal. My long diagonal being from Q to S. Everything is symmetrical. What I like to do is I like to split my kite into 4 triangles. It's just so much easier for me to see that way. Alright, Joseph, there's how many degrees inside of a triangle? 180, right? All right, so I already have that, and look in the green part. This top angle is 37, this is 90. How can I figure out what this part is? What'd you get? You have to do 180 minus 90 minus 37. What are we left with? 53. So that top part is 53. All we did was, yes, all we did there was break it down to a triangle. So now they're asking for the measure of PTQ. What's the measure of PTQ? Guys, this is so painful. Start at P, go down to T, go up to Q. What is that middle angle? Thank you, 90 degrees. That's unit 1, day 1. We have to know how to name our angles. The measure of PQT, 53 degrees. And then the measure of QRT, 37 degrees. Do we understand what this means? That end and then the little angle. What are they asking you to find? The measurement, right? On your quiz, a lot of you were putting degrees when it was asking for like a side. Like if it asked for RC, you were putting a degree. Does that make sense? Yes, that makes sense. It makes sense to put a degree for a line. Whew. Number 4, moving on. They told us this top angle here was 59 degrees. I'm looking at this part right here. I'm breaking it down to a triangle. Where this H is, what measurement should that be? 90, that's your right angle. So what's the measure of G?
Mm-hmm.
31 degrees. Good. So if that's the case, on the other side of the kite, this will be 59 degrees, and this angle will be 31 degrees. Same thing. So what is the measure of GDE? What'd you get? For GDE, we're going from G, top to D, and then over to E, so it's including both of those angles. 59 plus 59. 118. Guys, a lot of you are just sitting there and you're just waiting for someone to answer. You haven't even touched your calculator. That's just lazy. If you can't do it on your own, there's no way you're going to know how to do this on the test. If Joseph wasn't answering, this class would be silent. What's the measure of DEH?
31 degrees.
31 degrees. What about the measure of DGH? 31 degrees. All right, number 5. We're going to answer the ones that are the easiest to answer first. Out of these angles, numbers 1 through 7, which one do you think is the easiest to answer? That wasn't easy. Huh? 3 is easy. What's the measure of angle 3? 90 degrees. else is easy to answer? What about the measurement of angle 4? 65 degrees. What about the measurement of angle 7? 52 degrees. I can do all of those without doing any work. So now that we know that this is 90, and this is 65, and this is 52, now we can break the kite into triangles. Look at that first triangle. How can I figure out what angle 6 is going to be? From what? Yes. Technically that works. But let's just stay consistent. Let's do 180 minus 90 minus 52. What do you get? 38. Lulu, your way would still work. I just don't want you to get confused. So what's the measurement of angle 5? 38 degrees. Symmetrical. Take a look at this bottom triangle here. How do I get the measure of angle 2?
180 minus 90 minus 65.
Yep, what do you get? So angle 2 is 25. And the measurement of angle 1 is 25. You guys do number 6. All right, Joseph, what did you start with? What was your first angle? Huh? Okay, and 4 is what? Okay, so 4 is 90 degrees. Kaylee, what's the angle that you started with? Or what's another angle that you listed? 7 is what? Which one is 73? Not angle 1. Look at the opposite. Imagine you're flipping it.
46.
Angle 1 is 46? Yes. Alright, Angela, which one did you do?
5.
5 is what?
7.
3, yeah. 5, 7, 3. Alright, Michael.
I did angle 2 to get 1345 degrees.
You got angle 2. Wait, what'd you get?
To get 1345 degrees.
45? I got 44. Did you do 90 minus 46
Oh no, it's
from 180?
split 90 in half. Just like,
Yeah, you can't just split 90 in half.
yeah.
Split it up as if it is a triangle.
44 you said?
So if you do 180 minus 90 minus 46, you should get 44. Alright, so that means that angle 2 is also what? 44 degrees. What about 6 and 7? What do you guys get for 6 and 7? What'd you get? 17. All we're doing is splitting this kite into 4 triangles. Each of these 4 triangles need to equal 180 degrees. So this isn't any complicated math here. All we're doing is splitting it up into 4 triangles and subtracting whatever triangles we have from 180. All right, number 7. If WX is 14 and WR is 8, find RZ. Well, if I have to find RZ, I also have to find RX. They're going to be the same thing. So let's break this up into a triangle. What can I do to figure out what x is? If I have two sides, I need a third side, what do I do? Pythagorean theorem, how would I set it up?
We do it in decimals.
Absolutely, but let's set it up first.
So,
Eight squared plus X squared equals 14 squared.
Good. As long as you have 14 squared after the equal sign, you're good. It doesn't matter what comes first, 8 squared or x squared. You guys can put this right into decimals. You should get 11.5. On number 8, it says if AC is 38 and EE is 41. Okay, I'm going to split this 38 up because I'm going to put it, 38 is this whole diagonal, but let's split it up into two pieces. What's half of 38? 19. So each piece here is 19. We understand where that 19 just came from. And I can do the same thing. They want me to find CD. So I'm looking at this triangle here. So if I do Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to have 41 squared plus 19 squared is equal to x squared. That outside of your kite is always going to be after the equal sign. Put this into decimals, what do you get for x? You got 45.2. You go ahead and round it to the nearest 10. Did everyone get 45.2? Okay, so you guys are going to work on (9 through 15). Let's go through some of these really quick. If we label 9 and 10, it says RS is 10, RU is 9, so find QS. Okay, so let's first let's break it up into a triangle here. Once we find S, that's just one part of my answer. I want to double it so I can get the whole diagonal. Does that make sense? All right, number 10. GF is 15. CG is 23. We want to find CD. I'm going to move that X also over here. It's a kite, it's symmetrical. I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem, just like that. On number 11, what's special about angles S and U? They're equal to each other. They are both opposite angles on the short diagonal, so they're going to be equal to each other. You're solving for X. On number 12, they're also opposite, so they're congruent. And they're asking you to find the measure of angle L. Don't just stop at X. On 13, what's important here is that we know what the sum is going to equal. What is the sum of the quadrilateral? The sum of the angles. 360, right? The sum of the triangle is 180. If angle B is 109, angle D is 109, what's angle B going to be? guys can solve that now to find x. On number 14, if we were to split this up into a triangle, I know that those two angles are going to equal 90 degrees. So I already have 90 degrees here. So 180 minus 90 leaves these two to equal 90. So we can add those together to equal to 90. On number 15, I want you to find x. And I don't want you to do 16. So you're working on 9 through 15 for about 10 minutes, and I'll put the answers up. All right, let's go over these answers. On number 9, you should have had x squared plus 9 squared is equal to 10 squared. What'd you guys get for x? What'd you get?
4.35.
Yeah, we come out of 4.4. So to find QS, that means that this is 4.4, and this is 4.4. The whole thing of QS will equal what?
8.8.
8.8. Good. On number 10, you should have had 15 squared plus 23 squared is equal to x squared. When you solve for x, what did you guys get? 27.5 for CD. Use my x or CD, it doesn't matter. Alright, for number 11, you should have had 13x minus 32 is equal to 7x plus 22. Did you guys get 9? Good. For number 12, you should have had 5x plus 23 was equal to 8x minus 31. X equaled 18. Did you guys get 18? Yep. Okay, good, but they asked you for the measure of angle L, so then we plug in 5 times 18 plus 23, and you should have had 113 degrees. You guys get that? Okay, so far so good. For the second part, number 13, I added up everything together. I added up all my x values plus 109 plus 109, and I made that equal to 360 because all 4 of these angles add up to 360. Your x should have been 15. You guys get 15? Yes. Okay. On number 14, I did 9x plus 1 plus 23x minus 7 was equal to 90. So x equaled 3. Okay, so I plugged in. They want to know what this angle is just the same as that. So I did 9 times 3 plus 1, and you should have got 28 degrees. If you guys are stopping at x, make sure you're reading the directions more. On number 15, you just had to find x. So I made these equal to each other. They're symmetrical down the long diagonal. For x, you should have gotten 4. How'd you guys do? Good? Alright, so your homework is front and back, odds only. That's for homework number 6.
1357.
Huh?
1357.
Yep, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. For number 15 on your homework, just find x. That's another change. Number 15, write find X. You're not finding the angle. I also have a review, a test review for you guys. It is not due until Friday, so you can go ahead and do your homework if you like. Kite's homework is due on Wednesday. This review that I'm giving out to you guys is due on Friday. It's due the day of your test. I'm giving it to you early so you can get a head start if you want to. If you have questions, you can go ahead and ask. If you think you'll see your tutor sometime this week, work on that because your test is on Friday. Any questions?